Hey there, folks. Welcome to day 63 of my year of solo board gaming, considered by many to be ill advised and stupid. Sorry for not appearing on screen at the moment. So you're just going to have to listen to my disembodied voice in the background. I'm sure you'll suffice. We're playing Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and this is actually my fourth attempt to record this game. I was playing through it and realized I was making a number of errors, so I decided to do a little research on the forums. I managed to find a really good resource. It is basically a summary guide, and I'm going to try to see if I can find from who. By L. Roach 2, posted March 13th, 2017. It's Buffy Quick Reference 3.6. And it basically goes through a lot of the things that the rule book I don't think explains as well as it could have, and I'll try to cover as we go along here. But it definitely does change the way that I was playing the game. I definitely was not playing it correctly before. So we're actually going to sort of start from scratch here. I've got a setup with Giles and Willow, who will play, we'll have them as a twofer. And then for the second game, the game that we're doing tomorrow, we'll do, I think, maybe Spike and Angel as our characters. I know it's weird to be playing Buffy the Vampire Slayer without Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but that's just the way that I like to roll. Now, Giles has the ability to have one extra card, which is a plus, and then in addition, their special ability, his special ability is to draw 4 cards and keep 2, and then discard the rest. Willow's special ability is that she can discard magic supply items, and for each one discarded, she can destroy a baddie anywhere on the board. In addition, she can use one to fight a demon or a vampire anywhere on the board as well. She does not have any passive abilities. She starts in the magic box with 1 magic supplies. Giles starts over here, you see Sunnydale, with 1 tomes. We have yet to select yet to select one of these villains, and I think what we're going to do is we're just going to shuffle them up. It'd probably be easier if we just rolled a dice or asked to have a die selected for us. But let's go ahead and do this. I'm just going to sort of look away, and we'll see who we get. Couple characters there wanted to get out of the running real quick. And what we're going to get is, let's go ahead and choose this one. And this is Caleb. Okay. At the end of each round, check for each clue token on the game board. For each success, add 1 wound to the apocalypse track. Okay, so that's not the worst thing in the world. The master has, I think, the toughest one to deal with, which is for every clue token, add a vampire to the board. But overly not too bad. So we're going to take a look at the plot points for Caleb. We're not actually going to look at them. We're simply going to bring out 3 of them. So we got the mayor, Glorificus, Caleb. Caleb's kind of a weird choice to be one of the big bads. He definitely wasn't one of the big bads in the original series. He, of course, was from season 6 when they were fighting. Season 7, I think, when they were fighting the first evil. But obviously, you can't really have Dark Willow as your big bad in this game because you already have Willow as a character, and I think that might just get confusing. There's no big bad for season 2 because the big bad for season 2 is, of course, Spike and Angel and Juliet. And so that would be kind of weird to have, since Spike and Angel are also characters. I think they ran into the same thing. I can understand why you didn't want the trio to be a character as well, because that might just get confusing. So what we're going to do is, and this is just the way that I like to do it, just to keep things sort of organized. I'm going to lay out 3 plot points from Caleb. Now they're all going to be face down, so we don't know what they are until we reveal them. So we'll put that all up there. We're also going to take 3 monsters of the week. We'll do a little shuffle here. And then place 1 each on top of here. And we'll flip this one over since that's the one that's going to be revealed first. Okay? So these ones all go here. And we can put the rest of the monsters of the week over in the corner. We're going to put a clue token on each of these to represent the clue token that we'll get once we actually defeat the particular monster. Now let's take a look at this first one. Sweet. Sweet appears at the bronze. Players must sing everything they say. All characters must occupy the bronze to slay Sweet, Anytime a player speaks without singing, they must place a wound on the token on the Apocalypse track. Suite does not move during monster activation. Item required is 1 tome. So, starting now, that means I'm going to sing the remaining instructions. I am so sorry. But that's the way life goes when you play a board game that has cards with unusual elements. I don't know if that makes any sense, but another card just like that is the Gentleman. If you draw that card, you must remain quiet, or else there'll be a riot. We'll go ahead and start this monster activation token, where the card says that the monster has spoken. That'll be at the bronze, waiting for us to arrive. Now let's move on to setup instruction number 5. When setting up the game, you'll take 2 event cards, 1 for each player you have going in the game. If you had all 6 characters, you do 6 events just the same. It's 1 event card per player. Let's try to keep that straight. The first card we get says there's a vampire at the magic box, and also a townie needs some help at the Shadow Valley Vineyards. Oh, these stupid townies all are crawling around town. They need so much help, it really gets me down. When doing the event cards, you'll ignore the 3rd step just at the beginning of the game, because that would cause too much crap to pile up for you to deal with as you play the game. Now let's do player number 2. The event here's the same. A demon appears at the Tangelus Mansion, or Angel's little home. A vampire's at Restfield Cemetery, he likes to call it home. Yes, I just rhymed with home. Deal with it, this is hard. Now let's see what we're going to get as far as what's in the cards. Alright, I think I have completed the setup of the game. Willow and Giles will go back and forth all the same. If you use their special action, an event card you must draw. And sometimes the effects of that will leave you feeling raw. For Willow's first move, let's figure out where to go. I kinda wanna get this monster dealt with now, because singing through too much longer is going to be a pain in the ass. I might as well just make you draw my nails across the glass, because I know I cannot sing a tune, and yet here I am still tittering. I think my first move will be to take some magic supplies from the deck. Here's one mistake that I was making when I first played the game. When you end a round, you must shuffle discards back into the deck as the end of the round. When you're looking for 2 items, you'll find them without making a sound. Let's see, here we go. Let's find some magic supplies right now. Boy, these cards can remain hidden. I don't know how. Magic supplies, where are you? Magic supplies, there are you. Now let's shuffle the deck. These cards get shuffled so much, it makes them a wreck. Now we go back and forth between the 2 players in this game. So Willow's used 1 action. We flip the token upside down. Rupert can use his ability to go all the way across town. He'll go to the bronze. And on the next move, I think will be good. Willow's action will be next. She'll go to the bronze as well. And Rupert can now use the tome as the music starts to swell. He's got the book of music and he shows it to Sweet. We now do an event check with the glyphs at the bottom of my feet. We need an ankh or a star. A pyramid would be quite a shame. But should a pyramid appear, there's still one thing we can do to win this game. We'll draw the event card. Please be an ankh or a star. A star and sweet is defeated. He sent back to afar. Thank you. All right. Okay. That was horrible. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry that you all had to listen to that. That was just brutal. Okay. So, sweet is defeated. Thank the Lord. I don't think I've ever done anything like that before in my life. What's funny is in one of the other recordings, I had the gentleman come up, and in the gentleman, it's a similar restriction where you can't speak while the gentleman or the active monster. It's easier to not speak than it is to sing. All right, so the monster of the week is defeated, and we'll flip over Rupert's action here. Now, a clue token is dropped at this spot. Now, the clue tokens are interesting. You can just avoid picking them up, and what's nice about that is that if you get to a certain point, you'll have just 3 clue tokens on the board, and until that 3rd clue token is revealed, you don't have to deal with either the monster of the week or the big bad. It's kind of like those boring episodes in the middle of the season. However, there are negative effects with the clue tokens that usually result, so the longer you leave them out, the more danger they can be. The mayor has a really easy one. Just don't be in the same location as the clue token, and nothing happens. In this one, we'll have to do an event check at the end of the round and see if we match any of them. So there's a chance that we could get 3 wounds. There's a chance we could get 0 wounds. It's not horrible. Once you investigate a clue token, you reveal a plot point, and that usually makes the game harder. So there's a trade-off. So anyway, so for example, in the master, if there's no location at a specific vampire at a specific spot, you have to add a vampire. But once you reveal the plot point, it could be add a vampire every round anyway. So usually it's easier to leave the clue tokens uninvestigated. For now, however, since we have defeated the monster of the week, we have to reveal the next monster of the week, which in this case is going to be the Judge, who appears at Angelus's mansion. So we'll move the monster of the week token here. I'm going to leave the monster of the week token face up like that because that's easier to read. The Judge does not activate unless there are at least 4 wounds on the Apocalypse track. When the Judge activates, he kills all towns in his location. Each time a character performs a move action, add 1 wound to the Apocalypse track. Oh, good Lord, this is going to be brutal. All right, so the Judge is going to be difficult to deal with in terms of movement. Trying to think of the best way that I can do this. We're going to need a cross and we're going to need weapons, and we're not in a good place for either. I think we're going to go ahead and have Willow use her special ability. She's going to kick that in, and she's going to discard magic supplies. She will use all 3 of them, and this will actually kill all of the existing monsters on the board. However, now that she's done that, we have to draw an event card. A demon terrorizes UC Sunnydale. Townie needs help at Rosedale Cemetery. And place this card beside the game board until the end of the round. Hellmouth cannot be activated this round. So that's fine. We weren't planning on using it. Giles now has 2 more actions to go and can do 2 things. So we're going to have Giles activate his special action as well. And that means that Giles will take a look at the top 4 cards of the deck. We'll go ahead and do a quick shuffle here. I find that you pretty much have to just keep shuffling the items deck. I mean, it's one of those weird things where you're constantly putting cards in and out. I really wish that there had been a different way that they had done the cards, because I feel like you could have gotten the same effect with rolling dice, maybe. All right. So Giles will draw 4 items, and we'll reveal 2. We've got holy water, weapons, and a wooden stake. Now we need the weapons, and we'll go ahead and we'll keep the holy water for now. And those other two will get discarded. Now, because Giles used his special action, we'll draw an event card. Vampire lurks at Sunnydale High. And a townie needs help at Sunnydale Cemetery. If there's currently at least one character sharing a location with a baddie, there's not, so we can ignore that last one. And now we have two more actions that we can take, one for Willow and one for Giles, and then we'll do the monster activation. I guess Willow's, we're going to just draw some items, I think. I'm just trying to see what we can get here. We've got garlic and a wooden stake. So now the garlic is a plus because we could use it. We could use it to help out here. It'll keep the vampire from coming towards us. For the last one, I'm debating whether or not to move Giles. We're going to end up with an issue where one of these two, I think, is going to die. But we do need a cross to deal with... Yeah, we're going to have to... I think we're going to have to move. We're going to move Giles to here so we can get two crosses on the next turn. We'll move these event cards out of the way. Now, anytime a character moves, add one wound to the Apocalypse track, so we'll add a wound here. And that's it. So now we do the monster activation stuff. The first thing that activates is the Monster of the Week. Kills any townies in its location. However, there is no townie there, so we're good. The next up, we check to see if any of the baddies can activate. None of the baddies are going to activate because there's none of them are sharing a location with a townie. The next thing that happens, and this is what was kind of throwing me in the previous games that I've played, is that you activate them first. They either kill unprotected townies or they wound characters. Then, in enemy order, you move them to an adjacent location with an unprotected townie if possible. So this demon, for example, will move to this spot with the unprotected townie. This is not adjacent to an unprotected townie, so it does not move. It could then move to an adjacent location with a protected townie. Now, in this case, obviously, it has already moved, so we're not going to worry about that. There's no unprotected townie or protected townie. Or move to an adjacent location with a character, so they'll move here. And then non-adjacent, move towards townies only. So now both of our characters have moved. We don't need to worry about that. But if there was a third one, and there were no townies on the board, it wouldn't move at all. So that's something to keep in mind. We then flip any of the big baddies upside. Anyone who's stunned, we flip them over, and then we check for end of round stuff on the big bad. Check pyramid for each clue token on the game board. For each success, add one wound to the Apocalypse track. So not a pyramid, not a wound. So we are going to ignore that. Then, continuing with the end of round, in locations with townies rescue, one per character present. So we actually get to protect a townie. They're saved. Shuffle discarded items. We also check for passive effects. So there's an unprotected townie here. They'll move to the catacombs. There is no townie here, so we don't have to worry about that. If there's an unprotected townie here, they will move towards the crypt, so they will move here. And then we shuffle discarded items back into the character item deck, and then we start a new round. And I think one thing that was really tricky to understand was how do wounds get applied, how do you kill townies, and I was definitely killing a lot faster than I was supposed to. I was, I think, moving and then killing, which obviously means that the baddies get that many more activations. Things go a lot faster. Now the judge is not going to move. We have Giles will probably end up taking care of them. All right, we're going to flip this. We also passed the first player token, so technically we had Willow go first. This time we'll have Giles go first. And let's get all these flipped over. So Giles's first action is going to be take 2 crosses from the deck. 1, 2. We'll worry about shuffling when we have to shuffle. So that's his first action. I think Willow's first action is to move to the magic box. Actually, she can discard the wooden stake while she's there, and she's going to go ahead and do that. She's going to discard that wooden stake to dust the vampire, and then move to the magic box, and that will add a wound to the track because of the judge. Giles's next action is to move to the judge, which causes yet another wound. And we'll flip over this item. Willow's next action is to draw 2 magic supplies from the deck, which is why I wasn't going to bother shuffling right away. There we go. Giles's next move is to kill this dude. He will take the weapons and cross. And now we're going to go ahead and reveal the next card. We need either a pyramid or an Ankh. And we got a star, unfortunately. Now what I could do is I could take away one of Giles's basic actions to pass the event anyway. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do that because I feel like I need to move this along. So basically that kills the monster, but we lose, Giles loses an action each turn. And you lose a basic action. You don't lose the special action ever, and it can be a flipped over one. So the judge is gone. We'll go ahead and put this over here. That's going to leave a clue token here. And then we're going to get one more monster of the week, which in this case is Ethan Rain appearing at the crypt, which is going to be here. At the start of monster activation, replace Ethan Rain with Aegon as the monster of the week. Discard this card and search the monster of the week deck and or discard pile for Aegon and add him to the game board as the monster of the week. Oh, that is rough. Aegon is not pleasant by any stretch of the imagination. That's not good. Willow's next action could be, if she wanted to destroy she needs tomes, I think. Yeah, I think we're going to be aggressive about this because now that we're down an action, we need to get moving here. So she'll move here. Giles has one more action that he can take. Both of his items, unfortunately, don't affect either the monster of the week or the demon. So he'll use his special ability to basically look at 4 cards and take 2. Wooden stake, weapons, weapons, weapons. So we'll take weapons and wooden stake. Because that was a special action, that's going to initiate an event. A demon terrorizes Shadow Valley Vineyards. A townie needs help at the magic box. There's currently at least one baddie sharing a location with a character. There is not, so we don't have to worry about that. All right, and then Willow's going to have her last action. She could use 2 actions, or use her special action and basically wipe out the demons. And I think she's going to do that. I think she's going to go ahead and discard. I don't know. I'm thinking about it, and I think I kind of. We're gonna discard this because I think to get the tomes, we're gonna have to discard that anyway. And I'm gonna use this and just use the location ability. One of the other things I was doing wrong is that you cannot use a location's ability if there are monsters there. And that is important because I was basically cycling through monsters at the magic box and I should not have been. So she's going to draw 2 items. You can always use your special action as a basic action, but you still have to do the event if you flip it over, once you flip it over. Vampire's looking at the Summers residence. A townie is going to need help at Glorificus's mansion, which is where? All the way up there. Move 1 vampire towards the nearest townie. So we have just 1 vampire on the board, so it's going to move to the nearest townie, which is over here. Because we're going to lose a townie this time. So the monsters activate. The monster of the week activates. This is going to replace Ethan Rain with, I forget what it's called. I need the monster of the week deck, not that deck. Aragon or something like that. Trio, Bezoar, Aegon. Alright. So Ethan gets discarded. We replace this with Aegon. We're going to need 2 weapons. And Giles has 1, so that's a plus. And I think that was it. At the start of monster activation. So now the monster activation, I think one of the other things I was getting confused was whether or not the big bad or the monster of the week does anything. Big bad does not, monster of the week does. So the monster of the week kills a townie. And then we'll move 1 space towards a either an unprotected townie. We'll move 1 space towards a townie. We'll not move towards a character. So there, because there was nothing adjacent to the monster of the week. Now each of the monsters gets to go. The demon here is adjacent to Giles, so he'll move to Giles. This demon is not adjacent to anyone, so it will move towards either a townie, unprotected townie first, protected townie, or character. This vampire kills a townie and will also move towards the townie that's remaining. So move there. Or well, actually we'll move here because that's closer. And I think that's it. Those are all the monsters that get activated. Then after monster activation, none of the characters are sharing a location, so there's no evil. So we're at the end of the round. We don't save any characters, unfortunately. We do check on the clue tokens. We're going to draw 2 cards. All right, so we got 1 pyramid, 2 pyramids. So we're going to add 2 wounds to the apocalypse track, which is no bueno. And then we're going to flip all these. And I think Willow goes second this time, right? What I should have been doing is passing these back and forth. I think no. Willow goes first. We're going to give Willow the first player token. So she's got. She had everything to deal with Ethan Rain. Unfortunately, she has nothing to do with. She can't do anything about Aegon. She could start to move to get into place to deal with that. She is instead, I think, going to use her special ability and wipe out some demons. So we're going to wipe out these 2. We're going to discard these. And I forgot to discard the rest of the items back into the deck, but we're going to wait until we have to shuffle, and then we'll take it from there. So that is done. Now we draw an event because we used our special item. Vampire is lurking at the Summers residence. Townie seems very familiar. Is at Glorificus Mansions, and then this means that we cannot use the Summers residence for the remainder of the round, which sucks. All right, Giles gets to go. I think Giles will stun. You discard this without using an action to stun this vampire. We will use the cross, which affects 1 vampire at any location. We'll use it without using an action to move this vampire here. And now we'll use his special action to take a look at the top 4 items. And there we go. We got weapons. And we'll go ahead and go tomes, I think, for the other one. Because he used a special action, he will go ahead and flip. Vampire lurks at Sunnydale Cemetery, which is up here. Townie needs help at Sunnydale High. Fortunately, she's there. Place this card beside the game board until the end of the round. Characters may only move to locations up to 2 spaces away this round. When moving, a player may discard 1 magic supply to ignore this effect. Okay. All right, so Willow gets to go now. She will go to the magic box to get ready to start wiping out to get some more magic supplies. Giles will move to Rosedale Cemetery. And this was 2 spaces away, so that counts. She'll use her action here to get 2 magic items. Now, unfortunately, I've already used her ability this round, so she's not going to be able to do much else. Let's see, we'll go ahead and fight the big bad. We'll take 2 weapons. I really don't want to have to draw another thing here. So we need a star or a pyramid. We got an Ankh. Giles will lose another item. I could not use it, not lose it. Giles is getting pretty wounded here, but I kind of wanted to get rid of this Monster of the Week here so I can start cleaning things up. So Monster of the Week is defeated. There we go. Let's see. So Willow's next action, I think, do we have any demons left on the... We don't have any demons left on the board. There's nothing she can really do. I don't want her to move. I guess she could use the search item on the magic supplies and remove 1 wound. Just to give us a little bit of breathing room here. That's pretty much it. So now the monsters activate. There's no more Monster of the Week, and we don't bring out the big bad until the last clue token has been revealed. So each of the monsters will activate. None of them share the same space as a townie, so they'll each move. We'll move... so this vampire can move towards an adjacent townie. We can choose which one. We'll have them go towards this townie. This will attempt to move to an unprotected townie. However, the garlic prevents him, so that garlic gets used up. It's 1, 2, and I think that's it. I think we have finished all of those. So now we're in Willow shares a spot with a townie, and it's protected so that she can save him. Let's just make sure we do the end of the rounds correctly. First, flip over any stunned baddie tokens back to active. Big bad rounds, the big bad end of round effects. We're going to draw 3 cards for each pyramid. We're going to add 1 more wound to the track. So there's 1 pyramid, just 1 pyramid. Okay. So 1 more wound. And then we check passive locations for effects. And it looks like we don't have to worry about any of those. And then we shuffle discarded items. Oh yeah, we also save the townie. The townie's saved. Yay. And then we shuffle everything and we discard. Now, Giles is at a definite disadvantage here. He's only got 1 basic action and 1 special action left. He's pretty badly wounded. We're not sure what we're going to do with him. We've now got to start revealing plot points to start dealing with this. But first, we're going to clean up. We're going to do what we can to clean up the monsters that are out there. All right, so that's all shuffled up. We're going to get rid of these event tokens that basically limited us this round. Giles is going to get to go first, but it's only going to get to go twice as well. We're going to have Giles use the special action first so we can get some idea of what we're looking at this round. So we're going to get 4 items total. We're going to Holy Water, Cross, and Wooden Stake. I think we'll go Wooden Stake and Holy Water. Discard the rest of that. And then we draw an event card because we just used an action. Vampire lurks at Sunnydale Cemetery, so that'll be up here. Townie needs help at Sunnydale High. And if there's any, if there is currently at least one vampire sharing a location with a character, that's not the case. So we can get rid of that. Willow gets to go next. She can draw 2 more magic items to basically mess things up. What do I want this turn to look like? I think what I want is to get as many magic items taken care of as possible. So I am going to go ahead and use my special ability to draw 2 magic items. Or sorry, I'm going to go ahead and draw 2 magic items. That's the location ability. That has nothing to do with my special ability. That would be bad. Magic supplies. Magic supplies. Come on, where's the other one? Where's the other? There we go. And then we have to discard a tome because too many is. And I forgot that Giles can have 5 cards. I think I've been playing him as if it can only have 4. So sorry, Giles, for hobbling you like ridiculously. All right, so she's got 3 magic cards now. Giles's other action will be, I think, to go ahead and do the search on the clue token so we can get some idea of what it is we want. We can also... You know what? We will actually move. We won't get that clue token. We'll move here. And we've got 2 stakes. We'll go ahead and use both stakes. We can do this without using an action. Dust the vampires. So all those vampires are dead. Now Giles has moved his last move, unfortunately. However, Willow can now use her special item. She should have flipped over one of her basic actions. She's going to use her special to get rid of 3 monsters on the board. Are there only 2? There are only 2. So we'll get rid of this vampire and this vampire. We have to draw an event card. A demon terrorizes the Bronze. Townie needs help at City Hall. Move 1 demon towards the nearest townie. That would be here. The rest of this goes back. Let's see. Willow's got 2 more actions that she can take. She will do a search to stun that demon there. And she does not have to get rid of the tomes to do it. So that's a plus. Which I think is one more thing that I've been misplaying. Yeah, I think is something else I've been doing wrong. So the demon gets stunned. And she's got 1 more action. She could take 2 magic supplies. She could also go to the... See, we're not gonna have any movement on this round, are we? So pretty much she's gonna use her last action to move to City Hall, where she can basically protect a townie. So now we're at the end of the round. We've got no monsters activating. We just have 1 that's stunned. We have, so we'll go straight to the end of the round effects. We have to draw 3 cards. 1 wound. Just start dealing with some of these wounds here. Protected. This flips over. All right, so now these all get flipped back over, And we shuffle the items back into the look in the item deck. And Willow gets to go first this time. All right, so she'll go one spot here. Giles will use his special ability so we can get the event out of the way. He'll take a look at 4 items here. Garlic, wooden stake, magic supplies, and cross. I think what we want to do is we want to go... Let's go wooden stake and cross. We have to draw an event. The event is a vampire lurks at Glorificus's mansion. Townie needs help at the Summers residence. And if there's currently at least one vampire sharing a location with a character, there is not, so we don't worry about that. Then Willow gets to go next. She is going to use her special ability to slay that demon. If she can do that as long as she has magic supplies. It is her special ability, though, so we'll draw an event card. Vampire lurks at the Summers residence. Townie needs help at Glorificus's mansion. Move 1 vampire towards the nearest Townie. Well, they're all pretty much on top of Townies right now, so there's nothing else we can do there. Giles gets to... Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to move Giles to the Summers residence, where he'll give up the wooden stake to dust this vampire and use the holy water to stun this vampire, because that can be done in any location. We're also going to go ahead and trade this tome in for an artifact and see if we get anything useful. Keep getting the rocket launcher, so we're going to do a quick shuffle here first. Giles is also going to remove some wounds, I think, on the next turn. Blessed Sword. Fight to slay up to 2 demons in your location. That's kind of neat. All right, let's see. Willow's next action is going to be, I think... she can't get back over there. I think she's just going to take 2 tomes. Actually, she'll just search for 2 items, I think. Wooden stake and holy water. In which case, she will go ahead and move to the Glorificus's mansion and use her wooden stake to dust that vampire. And that takes care of all the vampires on the board. So we're sort of like this is getting a little ridiculous, I know. So essentially, there's no monsters left on the board, so none of them activate. We go to end of round. We have to draw 3 of these. We get 1 wound, nothing, 2 wounds. So we do have to heal some wounds soon. But we do also save 2 of the townies. And then we flip all these over. All right. Giles will use his first action to remove 2 wounds. Willow will move here. Giles uses a special action to remove 2 more wounds, but we do get an event card. A vampire lurks at the Summers residence. That is a bad spot for that vampire. A townie needs help at Glorificus's mansion. Move 1 demon towards the nearest townie does not apply. He's used all his actions, so it's basically she's going to use 2 more actions. To heal. Actually, before we do the 2 more actions, let's go ahead and use the special action here to fight a baddie because we've got magic supplies that will allow me to fight this baddie here. They're dead, but we draw an event. Vampire lurks at Angelus's mansion. Townie needs help at Restfield Cemetery. Replace any 1 townie on the game board with a vampire. We'll do this one here. And that's that. We're going to go ahead and use 2 more actions to heal 4 more wounds. And we'll stun this last vampire. Oh, we'll stun this vampire over here. I'm sorry. That's the better one to go with. All right, so 4 more wounds come out. We're now down to just the 2 townies, which we can't do anything about. Now end of monster activation. So the town, none of them are on the same location, so this will move here to an adjacent character. And then we have the passive effects, so we're going to get some possible wounds here. 1, 2, and 3. We have 1 more wound here. None of the other passive effects kick into place. The big bad that's stunned gets flipped over. And we are now at the start of the next turn. Willow will go first. We now need to start getting some of these search tokens. So Willow will go to the bronze. Giles will go to Rosedale Cemetery. We can use this to discard and just get the vampire away from here while Giles goes over here. She'll use a next action to do a search to get this clue token. This will reveal the first element of the plot. At the end of each round, spawn 1 demon in a location with an unprotected townie if possible. And then we need weapons and question mark to deal with that. Giles will also go and use their special action to reveal the next element of the plot. Only characters sharing the location with another character can attempt to slay a monster of the week or Caleb. That'll be a pain in the ass. And then because that was the special, we have to reveal that. Vampire lurks at City Hall. Townie needs help at the bronze. Replace any 1 townie on the board with a vampire. We'll replace this townie up here. Giles is out of actions. She's going to move here. Move to here, actually. And then she'll use her special ability to fight the vampire there. Draws an event. Vampire lurks at Shadow Valley Vineyards. Townie needs help at the magic box. And there's no vampire sharing locations with characters, so we don't worry about that. All right, so now we do the monster activation, all that fun stuff. None of them are sharing the same location as a character. However, almost all of them will move. So this one will move this way towards the townie. This vampire will move this way. Let's have him move this way. This one won't make a difference. That's it. Plus, after monster activation, this townie becomes a vampire. We draw 1 card, no pyramid, so we don't have to worry about another wound. And that should do it, I think. All right, so now we're going to flip all these. Giles goes first. Giles will use his special ability to draw a bunch of items. And what we need are, so far, magic supplies and not much else. So we'll go ahead and take... actually, we'll take the 2 stakes instead. All right, Willow gets to go next. Willow will go ahead and do the search for the token. This will bring Caleb out. Each time a character fights in a location containing another character, place 1 wound on the apocalypse track. Oh, goody. And we'll need 2 weapons to deal with that. Caleb now comes out, so we will need the little Caleb standee that I forgot to grab earlier. Hopefully, yep, there we go. Caleb, and he appears at the Shadow Valley Vineyards. Now when we resolve events, we have to check this to see if that kicks in. Let's see. We're going to have Giles go to the magic box and then discard the 2 wooden stakes to dust the 2 vampires. Willow gets to go next. She will go... What will she do first? I think go here, get 2 more magic items, and then use them to slay 3 of the baddies. Because there are 3 baddies left, and that's how many will kick in. So I'm not going to bother digging out the other 2. That's just going to be the event, the order that we do it in. So all the vampires disappear. We draw another event. Demon appears at Rosedale Cemetery. Vampire lurks at UC Sunnydale. Oh, crud. If no characters are currently evil, choose a character to become evil. We'll make that... we'll make it Willow. I think thematically that works. All right, and we had to check on here. Add 1 townie to the apocalypse or choose 1 character to permanently lose 1 basic action token. So we're going to add a character to the apocalypse because we're doing okay so far. So now the monster activates. The big bad, when activating, wound each character that shares a location, but does not move or attack townies unless noted. So when Caleb reveals himself, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we're fine. So Caleb's not going to move. He's going to stay at Shadowvale Cemetery. As far as the other ones go, the vampire here is going to kill a townie. So the townie ends up on the apocalypse track. The demon is going to move towards a townie. And we'll move towards an unprotected townie, so that will be this one. And then I think that's it. Now we do the passive effects, but we no longer have clue tokens out, so that's not going to be a problem. We save the townie, and we flip everything over. Now the first time that Willow does an action, she will essentially do an evil thing. Blows. And let's start talking about how we're going to get some items to deal with this dude. So the first thing we have to do is we're going to flip one of these over. And flip one of these over. Activate the monster of the week or the big bad. So fortunately the monster of the week doesn't do anything. Just sits there. Now Rupert's going to get to go and use a special item. We're going to deal out 4 cards and pick 2. We're going to definitely take the weapons and the weapons. We're going to probably deal with that one first. That's the special item. So we flip over the event. Vampire lurks at Restville Cemetery. Townie needs help at Angelus's mansion. Replace any 1 townie on the game board with a vampire. go. And then the Ankh came up. Add one townie to the Apocalypse track or choose one character to lose a permanent action token. We'll add one character for now. Not wild about that because that's starting to creep up. Let's see. She's going to need... Willow's going to take 2 magic supplies. There's 1, 2. I think I'm just going to have Giles use his other action to grab some items. Tomes and wooden stake. She is going to... What are we missing now? We have magic supplies, 1 tome. I don't think I can simply swap items. That is a good question. Oh, what do you know? Trading items is free actions. So right now, Giles has the weapons, 1 tome. She has magic supplies and wooden stake. So what we're going to do is we're going to have Willow take the other tome. That's a free action. Then she's going to search, basically take 2 items. Oh, actually, you know what she can do? She can do her special first. Get rid of 2 magic items. Kill the vampire here and the demon here. We'll draw an event card. Demon terrorizes Sunnydale High. Townie needs help at Sunnydale Cemetery. Vampires must be stunned before they can be dusted this round. It's not going to play an effect because we're just simply going to take 2 magic supplies back. And we're almost ready to face Caleb and just go beat his butt. However, we're at the end of the round, so everybody activates. There's nobody in the same location as a... Caleb doesn't do anything. He's still not in the same place as a character. Let's see. Oh, I was supposed to... Oh, I've been forgetting to do this particular one. This is spawn a demon in a location with an unprotected townie if possible. So I forgot that completely. So we're just going to say that these 2 townies are dead. And that we're going to spawn a demon here. But that'll be at the end of the round. So we'll remember that for the end of the round. But for now, this will move here. They'll move here. And then we will spawn a demon here. Might as well just keep it here. All right, sorry about that. And then I think everything else is good. Flip these over. Giles gets to go first. We'll use their special action to look at the first 4 cards and look for weapons. Because I think that's what we need the most is weapons. Yeah. There's weapons. We're sort of stuck between what else we can take. I think as much as I liked that sword, we're just going to discard it. And we're going to take, I guess, a wooden stake. We now have everything that we need, except we have to get one of these magic supply items over to Giles, and we'll do that as a free action. We can't do it as a simple trade because one of them would end up with more items than they're supposed to have. So this is how it's going to have to look. I think yeah. That how we want to do it? That's how we want to do it. All right, we do draw an event card. Demon at Glorificus's mansion. Townie needs help with the Summers residence. And there's no baddies currently in the same location, so we ignore that. And then we don't worry about the star because it's not applicable. Willow's going to move to Caleb. Let's see. We're going to move Rupert to Caleb. And now she's got 3 moves left. Okay, we'll deal with this first one. She'll no, she's got to deal with the Tomes one first, just because of what she's got. So she takes the Tomes one as her first action, and draws an event card. The Tomes one, we needed the Pyramid. She'll lose that because we can actually do this all, I think, on this turn. However, we did Fight, so that's going to add a wound, but that does take care of the plot point. She is then going to take 2 weapons from Giles, which she can do as a free action, and then use those 2 weapons to slay Caleb. We'll draw an event. That one works. No loss necessary. I don't know if, for the plot point, if we have to actually add a wound to the track. We're going to go ahead and do that. For the last one, she's going to take another weapon from Giles. This is her special action, but she's going to use it to eliminate the plot point. Here, doesn't matter if it comes up or not. It does come up. The right event. That's it. Caleb is defeated. All right, that I think was a legitimate playthrough. I don't think I made any mistakes there. I did end up with 10 wounds total. A lot of them townies, unfortunately. But that's the way life goes in Sunnydale. One day you're living your life, and the next day you're dog food. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and I'll catch you later.